Hey everybody, Dan here with Pain Free You. Today I wanted to talk about this concept. It's a little tongue-in-cheek, a little bit funny, but are your thoughts running a haunted mansion in your head? So, if that one kind of hits here, this video is for you. And if you know somebody who this should resonate with, feel free to share it with them. But be careful, they might be insulted. So, it's almost nightfall here. Temperature's finally cooling off a little bit, thus the sweatshirt. No tractor boy, but we got dirt bike boy. One of the neighbors is riding around on his yard. So, are your thoughts running a haunted house in your head? So, this video is exactly as it sounds. Is your own thinking terrifying you? Are you the type of person who says, I can't help it, I'm always thinking the worst. I'm always predicting a horrible future. I believe every single bad thing that I've ever heard or read on the internet. This doctor told me I'd never get better. I can't put that out of my head. And what I'm going to really encourage you to do is make a firm decision and a commitment to yourself that if you'd like to get better, and I know you do, you're not watching these videos just for the fun. I know you want to get better. But it comes a time when you need to ascertain what the facts are and what the fearful thoughts are. And the facts can be determined based on accurate knowledge. How does this stuff work? What creates symptoms? It's the fear, it's a perceived danger, not always actual danger. And the assessments are your tool to figure out what's going on for me. Because I can assure you that if you don't do the assessments and you're kind of saying, I don't know, I think I'm really broken, and I'm believing that because somebody told me that once or I read it somewhere on the internet, yeah, it's likely that your own thinking is going to keep on scaring you as if it's running a haunted mansion up in your head. So notice your thoughts, notice your thinking, and if it is full of fear, it's likely full of misinformation because the body heals. Chronic pain is most often a mistake made by a brain operating on misinformation, meaning bad data, and fear. So if your brain is stuck on looping on those fearful thoughts, check the facts. Check the facts. If the doctor says you'll never get better, first thing I would do is go look for success stories with people with similar diagnoses as I have. And, inevitably I've got one, but I'm sure there are other TMS, mind-body success stories for virtually most symptoms, right? So go to Pain Free You Success, scroll through, look for what you're looking for. And if other people get better, you can too. Now, if you can't find a perfect match, the assessments are the perfect way to determine how your symptoms are behaving. Not what it feels like, not what it's called medically, but how your symptoms are behaving is the most important thing you can do to take a look at it and say, are they behaving like a structural problem or is it behaving like a mind-body thing? And if you go to isthisTMS.com, also isthispdp.com, both of them bring you right to the same page, and on that page there's an FIT assessment. Ask and answer those questions for each symptom you want to evaluate to see if it's behaving like a mind-body condition. And when you actually analyze each question, pose this question. Well, is it possible that this could happen if I was truly broken or sick? No, because if we're broken or sick, it's way more consistent, not as easily triggered, right? You break your ankle, it's not going to behave like TMS. And those questions will clue you in as to what TMS, or perceived danger pain, behaves like. So, if you are creating a haunted mansion or a haunted house in your brain, it's most likely because you're kind of looping and ruminating on the misinformation and the bad data. And many of us, myself included, years back, it's really hard to let go of the belief that you're broken or injured. But case in point, the body heals. So any true injury should have healed long ago. Long ago. And so the question is, why hasn't it? And if a doctor says you'll never get better, say, prove it. What's your proof? And if they say, here's your reason for pain, this flaw on the MRI or X-ray or ultrasound, say, well, what's your proof that that is the cause of pain? And if he points to his medical degree, say, that's not proof. That just gives you an opinion, right? Because there are many people with all sorts of horrific looking MRIs and X-rays that don't have pain. And so, if you're believing the information that says you're broken, you haven't healed, it won't heal, and you're never going to get better, you're creating a haunted house in your brain. And the most important thing to do, if you find yourself looping on the fear, is to get very, very clear on what is going on. Once you get that, you can rely on the accurate knowledge, not the fear, not the misinformation, but the accurate knowledge of what's going on with you to dial down the fear. And if you're creating this haunted mansion or haunted house in your brain, start to notice when you're doing that, because you have an opportunity to say, I'm doing that again. And I really don't want to do that because it just scares the crap out of me. And that fear keeps the symptoms going. So it's really important to observe your own thinking. And if your own thinking is scaring you, check the facts. And if the facts are it's TMS, perceived danger pain, then why are you continuing to repeat the fear? I know it's hard. I know it's scary. Rational thought goes out the window when we're in fear, when we're in panic, when we're freaking out. But it takes practice, but it's possible to silence the fear voice. It's possible, and frankly, it's important. I would say mandatory to silence the fears once you have the facts. And once you have the facts, it's your job. It's your responsibility to yourself and frankly to those around you. If you want to get better, it's your responsibility not to continue to create that haunted house in your brain by repeating misinformation and bad data. Does this make sense? This video is all about thinking. And we really want to get to the accurate data and information so we can get a better quality of thinking going on. Because as much as I've been doing this stuff, we're not healing the body, we're teaching the brain. And the quality of our life is dependent on the quality of our thinking. And if your life sucks right now, evaluate your thinking. Are you scaring the crap out of yourself in this haunted house in your brain because you keep on ruminating on bad information and bad facts? They're incorrect. Do the assessments. And if you've done it and you're still stuck, do them again. Get the reassurance that you're actually okay. You just have a scared brain, and it's your job to notice when you're creating that haunted house in your brain by ruminating on the bad information, the misinformation, and put a stop to it. Say, I'm not going to keep on doing this because it's not the solution, I can assure you. So, consistent messages of safety credible messages of safety based on the foundational knowledge of what creates symptoms and that it absolutely applies to me. And so you guys and gals, you can all do this. It's not just possible, it's probable that when you consistently implement this stuff, you're going to get well. Don't go through the motions. Review the facts. Get clarity. And then make that clarity that I'm actually okay. Make that your authentic, dominant thought. Because if you're terrified and saying, I'm fine, might not move the needle because you're not believing what you're saying, because you may not have the foundation down. Hope that makes sense. So I'm going to wrap it up here, folks. Love you all. And as usual, we'll see you tomorrow. Hope you're having a great weekend.